A first impression more than meets the eye. Imagine you're meeting someone new at a party. They're dressed sharply with a warm smile and confident handshake. You instantly get a good feeling about them. This immediate judgment, based on limited information, is a powerful force in how we perceive others. We often form strong first impressions that shape our opinions even before we've had a chance to get to know someone deeply. These initial perceptions can be surprisingly influential. They can determine whether we like someone, trust them, or want to spend more time with them. But where do these snap judgments come from? How much of our impression is based on actual qualities versus superficial factors? The truth is, our brains are constantly looking for patterns and shortcuts to make sense of the world. This often leads us to make assumptions about people based on limited information, like their appearance, body language, or even just a few words spoken. While these shortcuts can be helpful in some situations, they can also lead to biased judgments. This tendency to judge someone based on our initial impression of them is known as the halo effect. The term, coined by psychologist Edward Thorndike in 1920, describes how our overall impression of a person can influence how we perceive their other traits. Think of it like a halo glowing around someone's head. If our initial impression is positive, that halo casts a favorable light on everything else about them. We might perceive them as more intelligent, trustworthy, and competent, even if we have no real evidence to support those judgments. Conversely, a negative first impression can create a reverse halo effect or devil effect, where we view everything about the person through a negative lens. This can lead us to unfairly judge their character and actions. The halo effect is a cognitive bias, a systematic error in thinking that affects our decisions and judgments. Our brains are wired to seek efficiency, and forming quick impressions is a way to simplify a complex world. When we encounter new information, our brains try to connect it to existing knowledge and experiences. If the new information aligns with our preconceived notions, we tend to embrace it. However, if it challenges our existing beliefs, we might resist or dismiss it. In the context of the halo effect, our initial impression creates a mental framework. This framework then influences how we interpret subsequent information about that person. Imagine meeting someone who is well-dressed and articulate. You might unconsciously associate these qualities with intelligence and success, even if you have no other evidence to support that assumption. One of the most powerful triggers of the halo effect is physical attractiveness. Studies have shown that we tend to attribute positive qualities to attractive people, such as intelligence, kindness, and trustworthiness. This bias is deeply ingrained in our culture, evident in everything from fairy tales to Hollywood movies, where heroes are often portrayed as physically attractive, while villains are often depicted as unattractive. This bias has real-world consequences. For example, research has shown that attractive individuals are more likely to be hired for jobs, receive promotions, and even get away with minor offenses. This suggests that attractiveness can create a halo that extends beyond personal relationships into professional and social spheres. Section 5. The halo at work. From job interviews to performance reviews. The halo effect can significantly impact our professional lives. In job interviews, for example, first impressions are crucial. A well-dressed candidate with a firm handshake and confident demeanor might be perceived as more competent than an equally qualified candidate who appears nervous or underdressed. This initial impression can shape the interviewer's perception of the candidate's answers and qualifications throughout the interview. The halo effect can also influence performance reviews. If a manager has a positive overall impression of an employee, they might unconsciously overlook minor mistakes or rate their performance more favorably. Conversely, a manager who has developed a negative impression of an employee might be more critical of their work, even if it's objectively good. Section 6. Social magnetism, attractiveness in the realm of relationships. Attractiveness plays a significant role in our social lives as well. We are naturally drawn to people we find physically appealing. This is partly due to evolutionary factors, as attractiveness can signal health and reproductive fitness. However, the halo effect amplifies this attraction, leading us to assume that attractive people also possess desirable personality traits. This bias can influence our choices in romantic partners, friends, and even the people we choose to interact with casually. We might be more likely to strike up a conversation with someone we find attractive, assuming they are more interesting or enjoyable to be around. Section 7. The halo's dark side, when perceptions deceive. While the halo effect can lead us to make positive judgments, it's important to remember that it's still a form of bias. This bias can have negative consequences, leading to unfair advantages for some and disadvantages for others. For example, studies have shown that attractive individuals are less likely to be found guilty of crimes, even when presented with the same evidence as less attractive defendants. This bias can perpetuate stereotypes and discrimination. We might make assumptions about someone's intelligence, work ethic, or character based solely on their physical appearance, race, gender, or other irrelevant factors. These assumptions can lead to missed opportunities and unfair treatment. Section 8. Beyond the halo, cultivating true perception. So how can we overcome the halo effect and judge people more accurately? The key is to be aware of this bias and to actively challenge our own assumptions. This requires conscious effort and a willingness to look beyond superficial qualities. When meeting someone new, try to focus on their words, actions, and character, rather than their appearance or other surface-level traits. Ask yourself whether your impressions are based on evidence or simply your initial gut feeling. Be open to the possibility that your first impression might be wrong, and be willing to revise your opinion as you gather more information. Section 9. Conclusion. Recognizing the halo's influence. The halo effect is a powerful force that shapes our perceptions of others. From job interviews to first dates, our initial impressions can have a lasting impact on how we view and interact with the people around us. Recognizing the pervasiveness of this bias is crucial to making more objective judgments and treating others fairly. By understanding the halo effect, we can strive to see beyond superficial qualities and appreciate the unique complexity of each individual.